We're back with another how to make a framework for FiveM. This time we're going to be doing JavaScript, and this is for the HTML elements that we're going to be writing. We're starting with JavaScript right now because I'm still working on the UI, just seeing when we want it, but the JavaScript is relatively going to be the same. So we're going to start with a var here, and we're going to put entered, or var entered, and we're going to simply equal false. And then we're going to have a var rotate. And we're going to set this equal to 0. And now we're going to do a $sign document dot ready. And then inside is going to be a function. And we're going to have a close bracket just like so. Which is basically, this is how you end a function in JavaScript. You're going to use these squiggly brackets, and then it will be ended. So a couple things in here. We're going to do a lot of $sign variables. And in here, we're going to have a dot MultiCharacter dash container, which is going to be a CSS element as well. But we'll get to that later. So it's right off the bat, we're going to show this. And we're going to show this basically once you load in, it will show this, which is what you need, as this is what's going to be able to select a character. So similar, we're going to add a couple more of these elements. So delete character, delete dot container. And I'm going to copy and paste this down as well. And instead of delete, it's create. So we have these, and we basically just hide these at the start, and dot hide, and end those off just like so. So we're opening up the multi-character here. You can't delete or create just yet. We're just hiding that information. And now inside, we're going to actually remove the classes. So we're going to copy and paste these down. Instead of hide, we're going to do remove class. And then inside of here, we're going to remove the class that is set to hidden. All right, now we're going to do a add event listener. It's going to listen to all the events. So we're going to do a window dot add event listener, and it's going to be a message, comma function, and just like so, inside this function, we are going to put an event because there are going to be events in here. And then once again, you're going to have to close that off with that squiggly bracket. Inside, we're going to start off with a var data equals event dot data, and we're going to close that off. And then we're going to do an if statement. So let me just copy data, and we're going to do an if data dot status equals char select. So if it equals char select, we're going to do another if statement as well. So inside of here, then if data.status equals true, then we will do the multi-character fade in, which is basically going to open up that multi-character UI. So $, inside of here, we're going to do dot multi-character container, just like so. And then outside, we're going to do fade dot fade in, and we'll do 250. After this if, we're going to add an else as well. So say it didn't open in, it's just going to be a fade out. So we're just going to basically switch this to fade out instead. All right, and we're gonna do this similar to we're gonna do it's similar to the setup characters as well. It's just another if statement. So if data.type equals setup characters, then what we're gonna do is var characters equals data.characters, just like so. And then if characters does not equal null, and another open bracket. Definitely a lot different than Lua, but I mean, as it should. So $each, and we'll select characters. So each character, comma function. Inside of this function, we are going to be looking for the index of the character, as well as the overall char. Make sure I'm doing this correct as well. It looks like it. So inside of this bracket, we're going to have a $. Go with the bracket one more time. And we're actually in here going to grab data dash char ID equals. Let's remove that bracket. And we're going to do a plus sign because we're adding to it. And this is going to be char.cid and then a plus sign. And then we could close the bracket just like so. So in here, what it's actually doing is it's grabbing this, it's setting data.character ID to character.cid, which is the basic setup on how your character is. So say we have a character like so. Let me just say we have 4 character slots. Each one of these character slots are selected to a number. So it's grabbing this CID on where the character slot is. So that's my way of explaining it. And we're going to do .html. And then, open bracket here. Just like so. Inside, we actually do a similar thing. I'm actually going to copy some of this because it's just a lot of it's formatting. So I'll explain it. Obviously, my buddy helped me with this all. I don't know if he wants to be named, so I'm going to leave it out for now. If he does, he'll let me know. So we start off with the same thing, character ID, and we go into plus char.cid plus, and then we do a .html here, and inside we're actually going to do this plus all this. So let me just space this out. So let me bring you through this. So in here, it's taking this HTML, and inside the slot name, it adds your character's first name and last name, as well as the wrapper. It will show your CID here, and your delete button. It will also show what character you are deleting, and saying you want to perma that player or not. That's really all it basically does. So yeah. In here, we're going to actually have to add a close bracket as well, don't we? No. Wait. No. Oh, we could take this and then close this. Just like so, and then that should be closed. Okay. After this if statement, let's go down. So after this if statement, we're going to have a play button. Obviously, when you select your character, you're still going to have to select play. So $, .play dash button, and then we'll do a click function, E for event, and then open that bracket up. So e.prevent default, that's what we're going to do. and then a var character ID equals $, this data, and inside of the data is going to be CID. And that's your character ID. Character ID is CID on which character you are trying to select. All right. Inside of here, we're going to have a .post, $.post. And in here, we're basically telling what this file is going to be called on technically the folder, I would say. So you're going to start off almost like a website, but instead it's going to be mp-base. And this is your folder's name, and it's just going to be a simple slash and select character. Because that's what we're going to be calling in here. So when we do that, we're going to have to add a comma after there, and then JSON.stringify. And inside of here, we're basically grabbing the CID. So CID colon character ID, just like so. And then I want to add a slash close UI, where then it would basically close this UI here. And we would just add a multi-character fade out once again, and then we would basically overall just hide the body wrapper. And then that is done for your play button. Your delete button is sort of similar. So $, delete button. Inside of your delete button, we're going to add a click function once again, because this is a button. So function, E for event, open bracket, just like that. We're going to add the same little colon at that end. And inside, we're going to do e.prevent default once again. And then var, we could basically just copy this. We're getting the character ID because we're going to delete off that character ID. So once you delete that character ID, I'm just going to copy the rest. There's not really anything useful. We fade out the character multi-character menu. We delete the character. We add the character fade in, which basically shows this accept delete button. And that's all that basically does. Okay. And now we're going to have a document. Oops, not this document. Not this document. Just a document dot on key up equals function. It's going to equal data. We're going to grab data from this, open bracket, and we're going to close that off right like that. Let's close this off, and we can close this off as well. So inside of here, we're going to do an if statement. So if data dot which equals 13, then what we're going to do in here is if entered, which we have set to false at the start. So if entered equals false, what we're going to end up doing is entered equals true. So we're going to set it to equals true in here. And while we're doing that, we're going to have a couple of fade-ins. As when you are entering, you're going to fade in a couple things. So we're going to have $, welcome screen. Whoops, dot welcome screen, my bad. And then we're going to have a dot fade out here. So welcome screen is going to fade out, and we're going to fade it out in 250. And then we'll have another $. And do we actually have this hashtag my progress? I don't think we actually need this. Screw it, we're gonna type it. If we don't need it, we can always come back. So dot fade in, and same thing, it's going to be a 250 here, and then we'll have a move function. Oops, not move, move, and then a loading text, and retrieve. So we're retrieving the data of that person, and then we just return it all. And that should be the base for this. Yes. So outside of this, we're going to have a couple other things that are going to be our CSS. So we're going to start off with a dot branding logo. So this is going to be a logo that you have on top of your oh my god, let me think, on top of your HTML. Just basically a logo for the server, and we're gonna do a this dot CSS, and then inside of here, we're basically, I mean, it's sort of dumb what we're doing here. This is just sort of like a little Easter egg, I guess. So we basically, when clicked on the logo, it rotates. It's literally just a little stupid Easter egg. That's all it really is. You could add that if you want or not. It doesn't really matter to me that much. Oh my god, we still have a lot to go. We still have a lot to go. I'll tell you what. We'll just finish it. We'll just finish it straight through. And we'll go a little quicker. So, I mean, I can't really go that much quicker if I explain it though. You know what? Screw it. We're doing it anyway. So, $. I can probably copy some of this actually. So we're gonna have a $sign here, and just like that. So this is accepting a delete. We're doing the same thing here, where we get this character ID, and then we're gonna do the same post here. So we post this. Obviously, instead of this would be delete character, and then we stringify. This all. Let me just do this, make it a lot easier. So we're stringifying. Entered is going to equal false, and then we delete character hide and location reload. So location reload. Am I doing this? No, this is right. This is fine. Yes. Okay. Now, I'm going to basically copy and paste this rest here. Why is this bugging out here, though? I see. See, this is how it gives you errors. But I'm going to explain this, and then we could fix it. I think we could just do this, actually. Yeah. So in here, basically it would delete the character. It would take this character first name and last name. Entered would then equal false, which basically reloads this, and it sets a timeout for this button saying you can't click it, otherwise it would end up bugging out. And then we re-show this multi-character. Sort of same thing works for create button. I'm just going to copy and paste the create button in. What the create button does is it will get the CID of where you are, then fade out the multi-character, fade in the creation of the character, which is you would select your name and your username and such like that. I'm gonna copy and paste these next two because they're sort of just a little useless almost. We have a cancel button just in case you didn't want to create your character. You have a cancel, and then you have a deny for denying your perma of the character. That's all these buttons really do. It's nothing that crazy. You're basically just fading in and out a module. And the last one, we got to it. So we'll actually write this. We'll copy a little bit of it in here. So in here, we're going to have a same thing, prevent default, and we're doing that. And this is going to be an accepting the creation of your character. So we're going to have a var here of char ID, which is the same thing of $ this CID. So we're grabbing that CID there. And then we're going to have a var data. So this var data is everything that is actually going to be inside of your accepting creating the character. So you're going to have a first name, a last name, a sex, a date of birth, and then your character ID. However, this character ID is defaulted to whatever slot you are selected. So you can't change that, which is great. In here, then we're going to also have a .host, and then it's just going to be http://mp-base/create character, comma JSON dot stringify. Inside we're gonna stringify just like so, and inside of here we're gonna do a char data and data, basically equaling data, and then we are gonna put entered to equal false, as you are no longer entered. That character is there, and we basically just refresh here, where create character will then fade out, and then we will have the multi-character fade in. So when you create the character, you're not actually just going into the server right away. You could still select him. And that is actually going to be it for the JavaScript part.